afternoon, a CHP officer says he saw Moreno purposely run the train off the tracks through concrete and steel barriers, through a chain link fence and three unoccupied cars before it finally came to a stop. Luckily, no one was hurt. The bizarre derailment ended here, just 250 yards from the U.S. naval ship Mercy, docked at the port of Los Angeles. It has non-COVID hospital patients on board. Federal agents say 44-year-old Eduardo Moreno, the train engineer, purposely ran it off the tracks. They say his intention was to crash it into the USNS Mercy. Just before 12:30 Tuesday afternoon, a CHP officer says he saw Moreno purposely run the train off the tracks through concrete and steel barriers, through a chain link fence and three unoccupied cars before it finally came to a stop. Luckily, no one was hurt. That CHP officer and port police took Moreno into custody. He apparently told the CHP officer he believed the USNS Mercy was tied to a government plot. He said, "The whole world is watching. I had to. People don't know what's going on here. Now they will." He was taken into custody, where he told FBI agents he did it out of a desire to wake people up. Moreno stated that he thought the USNS Mercy was suspicious and did not believe the ship is what they say it's for. Mayor Eric Garcetti said, luckily, the crash did not impact non-COVID patients on board receiving care.
In terms of the derailment, no, that shouldn't in any way change the operations. We still have vehicle access. We can get folks in and out of there, and they have been accepting patients.
Moreno says he acted alone and didn't plot this out ahead of time. He now faces up to 20 years in prison. From the Port of Los Angeles Police Department, Stacey Butler, KCAL 9 News.
Moreno.
The number of coronavirus cases around the world is approaching 1 million. The United States is first, 200,000 infections. The death toll has risen by a record 884 in the last day alone. Worst hit, New York City.
The epicenter of America's coronavirus outbreak. The streets of New York are deserted. But ambulances are a constant presence on the streets. The state's death toll has doubled in just 3 days. A refrigerated truck was brought in to help this Brooklyn hospital deal with a sharp rise in fatalities.
Hospitals are running out of medications. Some hospitals don't have protective gear for staff or family members of patients that come to the hospital. We're running out of medications, we're running out of equipment, and we're even running out of oxygen, which is something that patients that have COVID-19 need.
The White House is projecting that the virus could claim up to 240,000 lives across the country. Despite this, the pandemic authorities are urging restraint.
And if you are going to wear a face covering when you go out, please understand, you still don't need an N95 mask. And if you take one of those N95 masks, you may be taking it out of the hands of a healthcare worker who desperately needs it to care for patients.
Union leaders are warning that frontline healthcare workers are at risk.
We're here to say that our members are afraid to go to work because safety protocols aren't keeping them safe. That is why we're calling for hazard pay. You're trying to keep our safe, you're trying to keep our coworkers safe, you're trying to keep our community safe.
Workers who didn't get access.
So I haven't really been given too much direction besides just wait it out. Stay home, keep yourself quarantined, but wait it out. And if you get worse, you know, if you can't breathe or, you know, you start having radio fevers, call 911.
President Trump is warning Americans they face a very tough and painful 2 weeks. It is not given to understand.
Journalist James Reinl joined us from New York and gave us this assessment.
I think you could say that the mood in New York City is becoming increasingly concerned. I think that goes nationwide as well. In the last 24 hours, there has been a discernible shift in the emphasis on the scale of this crisis. For example, previously, President Donald Trump, he was talking about the possibility of there being some cure being found for coronavirus. And now saying that the vaccine wasn't going to be as long-lasting and wasn't going to attack the economy. Trump speaking to the nation again, and he said it's going to be vicious. The predictions, the projections for the total death toll from this crisis that have come out of the White House suggest that as many as 100,000 or up to 240,000 people could die. And that is even if you start obeying the social distancing rules and everybody does say shut up in their apartments. Not just here in the worst hit part of the country, the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, but in these other parts of the country, like Florida and New Orleans, that are starting to show bigger signs of epidemics there.
Dale Fisher chairs the World Health Organization's Global Outbreak Alert and Research Network. What do you make of Britain's lack of testing?
I'm not there. I'm not sure how much testing is being done, but the one thing that concerns me is when we say test, it's about what you do with that test. And the thing that actually concerns me the most is when people are found in countries across the world to be positive, they're generally sent home. We know that up to 80% of cases are mild, and a lot are in young people, and it's very difficult to completely isolate yourself at home. We in the 5 countries where there is quite a flat curve and relative control, we all isolate our cases in hospital. But when that capacity is breached, then we have community isolation centres. So this is all through China now, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, and Singapore. So to me, it's what you do with the test.
And given that there is no cure, why is testing so important?
Well, exactly. If you don't do anything with it, then you could argue what's the point in testing. The reason to test is you can identify the cases and you can take them out of society, and you keep them out until they're cleared, and then they can come back in. It's not a penalty or a punishment to isolate people. Isolation is a genuine infection control intervention to prevent spread. So you can either shut down your whole community and tell everyone to self-quarantine, or you can pull out the positive ones, isolate them, and that allows society to function as it is in parts of Asia.
Now, we see TV pictures every day of people in hazmat suits disinfecting the streets as part of a response to this. This is an approach that I think you're not necessarily keen on.
No, I mean, maybe it's a community image that we're taking it seriously. I don't know. It's certainly not anything that we recommend. We don't believe people are catching it from the ground. And it makes no sense. It's quite wrong to spray people with chlorine. I saw images of refugees being sprayed. That's wrong. I think it needs to be stopped. I'd rather see images of people, washing their hands and distancing and things like that. That's the community response, not spraying chlorine everywhere.
Let's have a look to the medium and long term. How should governments avoid a resurgence in cases in this pandemic, and indeed prepare for the next one?
If we replace this one first, so many countries or cities are under lockdown, and this lockdown really speaks to the terms of opportunity. Firstly, you will stop transmission. If you separate everyone and say don't mix, transmission will eventually burn out. There'll be household clusters and things, but it'll stop. You'll also have an opportunity for your healthcare system to recover. You'll get your ventilators back. People will go one way or the other. They'll come off the ventilator, hopefully successfully, but some will die. But your health system can recover. But I think what's most important is during any lockdown period is that you reboot your response. You look at your testing, you look at what you're going to do with positive patients. You look at the laws. Do you have public health powers to be able to do what's the right thing for the public? How are you going to do your contact tracing? What are you going to do with contacts? All these sort of things can now be debated because you're locked down, you've got a sort of a breather period, but if you just open up again, things are the same, then it's not to come back and history will repeat.
Looking forward to learn the lessons. Good talking to you. Thank you for joining us. Dale Fisher from the World Health Organization. Well, here in Germany, a search for a group of researchers has turned a hard-hit town into a study area. They're looking at everything to get information about how the virus is spread, and who gets it, and what's it.
This Germany is the German epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. Now it's about to turn into an open laboratory.
So here, for the first time, we can ask the question, how many infections went undetected? How high the ratio of those really is?
Doctors are coming up with pollsters to analyze the news of 1,000 people in the small community of Stanford. Following carnival celebrations in February, the town saw a sudden surge of coronavirus infections. Those responsible for the mistakes made back then may now produce some good for others.
In the end, maybe we won't just be remembered for being the region where things were really bad. Maybe we'll be remembered for handling the situation well, doing as much as we could.
It's hoped taking samples from all aspects of daily life will shed some light on how fast and in which ways the virus spreads.
The problem is that we are currently relying too much on mathematical models, and that only one factor is about to be wrong. The whole conservation of it factor goes out of time. The total number of reported infections worldwide has risen to 940,000 people with 47,000 deaths. This year's UN Climate Summit is being postponed. COP26 talk scheduled for Glasgow in November has been back to next year. After good, reported the first coronavirus case in Sweden. A woman from the Kakama ethnic group and the rainforest affected the Philippines has ordered police to shoot dead anyone who causes trouble in lockdown areas. Rodrigo Duterte's televised speech came just out after a group of people were arrested in a slum, but demanded the government to do more to achieve the fall. The coronavirus pandemic plunged the aviation industry into an unprecedented crisis. Been forced to ground at least forms of clothes and passengers. British Airways is the latest planning to suspend about 36,000 staff. The company has stressed that we don't do that. This week, temporarily halted flights from Gatwick Airport, UK's second busiest. Finance correspondent Conrad Boozman at Frankfurt Stock Exchange has more. Welcome, Conrad. How are markets reacting to this news?
Good morning, Phil. Well, the shares in International Airlines Group, which is the parent company of British Airways, are up this morning, but the whole sector, I can say, is pretty stable this morning on the stock markets all over Europe.
BA, of course, is not the only carrier of suffering. Give us an overview of the sector, would you?
Well, of course, this sector was one of the hardest hit in this crisis. It was also one of the first hit when the corona epidemic broke out. It doesn't even help that fuel at the moment is super cheap because of the oil price. If you don't have passengers to transport, if the amount of cargo is reduced the way it is right now, you simply don't have to fly. You have your flights scrambled. It doesn't really help that fuel is cheap. Here in Germany, the situation for Lufthansa seems to be stabilized at the moment. 87,000 employees of Lufthansa have entered the reduced work hours scheme called Kurzarbeit here in Germany. That's a scheme that's supposed to help businesses in trouble. That's when the taxpayer, the state, takes on the wages of those workers. Lufthansa is also considering to apply for emergency aid by the government. Air France, KLM, the French-Dutch airline, already has applied for emergency aid.
So clearly, this is devastating for this particular sector. Once we're out of this crisis, I presume that the sector is going to look very different because not every airline is going to survive.
We're probably going to see more businesses, end. It has to be said generally, business models which were not super sound before the crisis, which did not have very sound financing, will find it difficult to survive this crisis.
A third of the world's population is now in some form of coronavirus lockdown, not just for us, but also for our pets. I'm learning about all that extra quality time with owners. Lots of us without pets are now being considered in that position.
Long days stuck at home may be frustrating for us humans, but many of our four-legged friends have never had it so good. Leo from Florida is lapping up the ultimate attention.
During this rather tricky time, Leo brings a lot of joy and joy.
Definitely finding spoiled because they're not used to seeing us and being the whole day with us. So they're totally getting spoiled. Loving their face, loving spending time with the family. In London, Simran's Pooch can't believe her luck. Everything has gone completely out of the window. As long as social distancing is practiced, there's no reason to give up walkies. And it's not just dogs who are enjoying more family time.
Lily is usually asleep at this time. She is a night owl or a night hog, but since all the kids are here and everything, we thought we'd take her out.
During times of crisis, pets can be a great comfort. That's why across the world, animal adoptions are now soaring.
We've seen nearly a 300% increase in adoptions and interest around care applications. And it's been really motivating to see many people turn to animals for some companionship over the next few weeks, if not months.
Thanks to the increase in demand for new furry family members, many of this shelter's cages are now empty.
Leaving out with a look at some of the world's normally busy streets and public spaces silenced by the coronavirus pandemic.
So, I mean, you don't see anybody out on the streets. You still see people walking, but they aren't in the playgrounds like they were 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be great if we looked at Italy and saw everyone back to normal and everyone living life, but because they're not anywhere, whoever's ahead of us, I think that's also hard for people to.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. There's a real misconception about being outside, and I think there are a lot of people who think, well, if we're outdoors and we keep this distance, everything's okay. But what we saw in Italy was that when they said, okay, you can go out, maybe with one family member or by yourself,
inevitably there were these congregations of friends. I mean, Italians are very social people, so inevitably you would go out and there'd be somebody that you start talking to. And so they sort of had to do a Wuhan style situation, which we never in a million years thought that in Italy would happen. But if you look out my window now, all you see is police cars going by with loudspeakers and sirens, and I mean, it's really very serious. And I think one of the problems with New York, like Italy, is that it's dense. You know, in California, I don't know California that well, but I don't think there are as many situations where you have to take elevators. I mean, both my sister and I live in buildings where there are elevators, and so to get to your apartment, you have to, you know, there are closed spaces that are inevitably going to be, the virus is going to spread quicker. So in those places, it's even more important to be rigid about it.
Well, yeah, certainly in places like San Francisco and Oakland, there's a lot of people in high rises and in small situations, but it's not New York, and it's not Italy in the sense of space, I think, you know, that for the masses of how many people live in that space. I want to dive a little deeper so we can get into kind of each one of you. And Catherine, you didn't mention before that you wrote a book called Mother-in-Law Cure, and that you're in Italy with, you said 3 months you're supposed to be there, and look at you now. You met your husband and your mother-in-law, and that led to this life in Italy. I've spoken to another American living in Italy who was talking about how it has changed the culture, you know, that used to go to the grocery store, and even the grocery store clerk was moving over into streets, and it was this very, like, you know, hands-on culture. I have said, I wonder if there'll be ever a point where I feel like I can hug an old friend that I ran into in the store and not feel self-conscious about it, and not have it change everything about kind of how I feel around other people. You know, like I see on social media people posting about how everyone's yelling at each other for not taking enough distance. You know, so there's that not taking it too seriously, and then having it change the way we see each other. Are you seeing that change in Italy, the way people interact when they do see each other?
Yes, I mean, we have a dog, so that's one of the only sort of legal excuses to go out and go around the block. And I see that even, you know, we all have masks on when we go out, which is also another interesting thing, because from the very beginning, we realized that even if masks couldn't protect you, they would be helpful in not spreading the virus. So we all have had masks from the very beginning. And I find myself saying, buongiorno, buongiorno to people. And it's strange because it's like people want to answer, but they almost feel like they can't even verbalize because there's this kind of wall that's been built. But at the same time, I feel like we miss it so much that we're gonna need it even more. My mother-in-law, again, you know, how Italy is a very sort of tactile place. And so everybody's hugging each other and everybody's, you know, spoon feeding each other the things they cook. And my mother-in-law just the other day said, I'm waiting for the moment to squeeze you, Catherine. You know, I just want to squeeze you again. You know, we're all missing it so much.
And you have told me in the past that your children sit at the dinner table at night and say, have we hit the peak of the peak on?
But it looks like we have. It looks like we're still in it. We're still in the middle of it, but it's not rising exponentially the way it was. And we were also very scared that the cases from the north were going to come down to Rome because it was so much worse in Milan. And when the government said close down Milan, but hadn't closed down the rest of the country, a lot of people got on trains and came south. And the thing about Italy is it's such a multi-generational culture that people came south and they came back to their grandparents, they came back to their parents, they came back to their families in small apartments. So we've just been sort of waiting for the Rome and south of Rome to hit. And it hasn't hit in the way there are more and more cases, but they're not exponential. Yeah, we're talking about July, which for parents it's demoralizing, but for the country, you know, they're saying that these restrictions could be gradually lifted, and then by summer, things could look a lot better. They said, and you know, I don't know if this is, but they did make a projection that by May they're looking towards and hoping for zero
still having cases, but not.
Right, yeah, and I don't think, unfortunately, we're saying that here. I mean, May just looks like yes, I mean, I know in California, they have said, no schools on May 1st, and then the superintendent was like, you're not going back to school, and it breaks a little bit for everyone to kind of, I think people don't want to say it in the hope that maybe it won't be true.
I think you're right.
We, Italy, in their timeline, there's nothing really that we're in a different timeline, and now we need to figure it out. You know, does that feel like that in your?
It does. And I feel stupid because we were planning our wedding, my child and his father and I were gonna get married on April 11th in New Orleans.
And I'm so sorry.
Well, we postponed it to August 1st, and I had a conversation with the hotel, like, I might have this conversation again with you, and they said, okay, we'll have, so who knows when.
I think, right, I mean, I think people were pushing things to July 1, they weren't canceling it, or saying, all right, well, maybe by the summer we'll be over, and I was just saying, like, I read an article on like 4 different timelines, and literally none of them sound good.
Yeah,
You know, like, I mean, in terms of what I would hope for my life, none of them. I was like, I hope all of you are wrong. I know they're all very intelligent.
Could maybe everybody be wrong?
Maybe, I mean, it's just because I think not having an out time, and I think, I mean, in terms of like how people deal with this, I mean, a wedding, of course, you want the help of everything.
The New Jersey community is reeling over the loss of a beloved elementary school teacher and coach who died of coronavirus. Ben Luderer was only 30 years old. He was a special education teacher and a varsity baseball coach. He passed away in his home this week, just a few days after feeling symptoms. Joining us now is Ben's wife, Brandy Luderer. Brandy, what a shock this story is to, of course, you and your family and the entire community, and everything that I've read about Ben is just what a special guy he was.
Yeah, he really was. You know, there are so many different aspects of his life where he has touched so many people, whether it be, you know, just being a son or a husband or a friend, you know, a colleague, a baseball coach, even when he was a baseball player, you know, he's met so many people and touched them in so many ways. It's just hard to believe, you know?
Oh my God, I mean, we're so sorry that this, I mean, it's horrible on any level, and then the suddenness of this. And so just take us back to just this past Friday night. What happened on Friday night?
So Friday night is when we actually had to go to the ER. He was feeling, you know, shortness of breath and like really struggling to breathe, and, you know, was really concerned, and he knew it himself. So he came into our bedroom where I was laying, and he said, you know, I gotta go, I gotta take myself to the hospital. And I said, are you sure you wanna go there? You know, like, are you sure? He said, yes, I need to. So I ended up driving him there. You know, at that time they weren't accepting any visitors, so I wasn't able to go in with him, but he was updating me the whole time. I was out sitting in the car, you know. So they gave him oxygen. He responded well to the oxygen. He had fluids and Tylenol. And, you know, they let him go home. They said he was, you know, responding well to the oxygen, just keep doing what he was doing at home, drink lots of fluid, and he was given, you know, some prescriptions to take. So that's where it ended on Friday.
Okay, and then by Sunday night, he was feeling better. I mean, you say that he got out of bed, he ate dinner for the first time in a while, and then what happened?
So yeah, like you said, Sunday was a great day. He was up moving around, talking to us, and then, you know, nights he had always said were the worst. It was hard to get comfortable. He was, you know, sweating, and you know, when he laid down a certain way, it was hard for him to breathe. So he, you know, texted me because I was out at that point on the couch, and he was in the bedroom, you know, trying to get comfortable. And he said, you know, I'm struggling. Like, this is hard, you know. And I said, well, do you need to go back to the ER? And he was like, you know, I don't know right now. So I just tried to do as much as I could to make him comfortable, you know, calm down his breathing, you know, get him to cool down. I ran out to a friend's house, you know, she was willing to let me borrow the humidifier to kind of, you know, try that as something new, because, you know, like I said, the nights were the worst. And he finally settled in after taking his bath, the humidifier was on, and he was ready to like try the night, go to sleep, So I came back up to the couch and I could hear through the door that he was still breathing, and I fell asleep. And then, when I woke up that morning, he wasn't with us anymore.
Brandy, it's just so shocking. It's just so shocking. You saw him at 2 a.m. and then you woke up at 6 a.m. to go and check on him?
Correct, yeah.
I mean, Brandy, I feel for you because obviously that is such a shock to the system for anybody, and that you were alone and having to discover him. What did you do?
My youngest brother lives with us. He goes to Montclair State University, so he's been living with us, going to school and stuff. So I'm very fortunate that he's here and I'm not completely alone with everything going on. Nobody can come over and visit. But being that he lives with us, he's here to support me, and we're here to support each other because, my whole family, Ben's whole family, all the communities that he's been a part of, we're all just trying to get through this, minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, because it's tough.
Of course it is. And the reason that you have to be alone is because you've tested positive for coronavirus.
I tested positive, a couple days before Ben started showing symptoms. So I had a very mild case. I only had a low grade, temp. They weren't even considering it a fever, and some nasal congestion. But I was, on the mend, getting better, and then that's when he started showing symptoms. So,
have the doctors given you any idea of why a young 30-year-old, healthy, no pre-existing condition, young man declined so suddenly and died?
No, we don't really know. I don't really know.
So I know that you want people to know who your husband was, and I know that he was such a special person, and you want all of us to be able to understand it. And so just tell us about his life.
I think from the moment, that he was born, he is adopted. His parents, we're very fortunate to, get him into their life, for the 30 years that they had him. They said from day one, he had the biggest smile on his face, and, you can see it all the way up for the 30 years. Every single picture that he was in, he had a huge smile on his face from playing baseball.
I want you to take the time to remember a very special man. His name is Dr. Frank Gabriel. Now, Frank was an ER doctor and two-time cancer survivor, so he knew how to fight. And he spent his final days tending to patients in a New Jersey hospital. When he was there, he knew he was compromised, he knew he was exposed, and he caught the virus himself. He died within a week, passing away on Tuesday in his husband's arms before help could arrive. Dr. Gabriel's husband, Arnold Vargas, is with us, along with their close friend, Deborah Vasilich. And I'm happy to have you both here. Obviously, these circumstances are not the way that I would want to meet anybody, let alone the husband and friend of a hero. I know you are heartbroken, but what do you want people to know about your husband and why he put himself in such jeopardy for people he didn't even know?
He was a person that he loved to know how people.
This morning, the coronavirus death toll in the United States has grown to more than 5,000 people with families and loved ones in mourning. 39-year-old Conrad Buchanan passed away last week. He was the father of two and a DJ in Florida who performed in front of hundreds of people for weeks before he got sick. Joining me now, Conrad's wife, Nicole, and daughter, Sky. Nicole has tested positive for coronavirus. Sky is still waiting for her results. Guys, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. I am so sorry for your loss, and I want to talk about your husband and your dad. But let me just start with you, Nicole, and ask you how you're feeling today.
Symptom-wise, I'm okay. I just have no taste and no smell.
Which can be one of the symptoms of COVID-19 that people have been living with. I'm happy to hear you're not having any harsher symptoms. So Nicole, walk us through what happened with Conrad. He was feeling sick, then what?
We couldn't get him tested. I fought. They didn't want to test him due to his age and that he had no underlying health issues. So he woke up Saturday morning, the 14th, not feeling well. I wasn't able to get him tested until that Thursday, the 19th. And then the 22nd, or the 21st is when he got the results back. That day he was starting to decline because he did not have a horrible cough this whole time. And the 22nd is when I brought him to the hospital and they're so good.
Scott, give your mom a hug for us right here. You dropped him off at the hospital. He went inside and they intubated him immediately. Did you have a chance to say goodbye?
No, they wouldn't let me in the hospital as he was begging that I need my wife. My wife makes my decisions. They told me to park the car. We thought that I was going to get to go in with him. And when I walked up to the doors, the hospital's on lockdown. They wouldn't let anybody in. After that, that was it. I never got to say, I love you.
But he knows. He knew for sure that you did. Sky, everyone says that they can see your father in you, in your eyes, in your passions. Tell us about what you shared with him.
Well, we always like to watch The Flash together. Not the Green Arrow. That was in the news article. Kind of upset me a little bit. He would do dances with me, and it was funny because he could perform in front of a bunch of millions of people when he DJ. But he dances too, but it was the best. And he would do ballet with me because we had daddy-daughter thing at ballet sometimes. And I remember I was trying to take it really seriously, and my dad dropped me, and I got so upset. But then I started having fun, and we did this really funny lift, and it was really funny. And we just overall shared everything. He brought me to school. He brought me to ballet. He was my everything.
First of all, I know how cool you are and you like The Flash. My boys are huge into the DC Arrowverse, and like you, they prefer The Flash to Green Arrow. So we're in complete agreement on all of those things. You took your father to daddy-daughter dances, but it took some convincing to get him to go with you.
Yeah.
You a better dancer than he is?
The president, who has been playing down the coronavirus from the beginning, says this today.
I've always known this is a pandemic. I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic.
We're going to go through this because it's important that you should know. It is important that you hold the people who are in charge accountable. It is important to know how we got to this point. That is gaslighting, pure and simple. The President of the United States is gaslighting you, and you deserve to know. Claiming today that he has known all along that the coronavirus is a pandemic. This is way back in January, and I want you to listen to the President's own words in January.
We have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
That was in January. Days later, the CDC announced the first case of person-to-person transmission of the virus in this country. The World Health Organization said the outbreak was officially a public health emergency of international concern. But listen to what the president said in February last month.
We pretty much shut it down, coming in from China. In April, supposedly it dies with the hotter weather. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. In fact, we're very close to a vaccine. We're going down, not up. We're going very substantially down. We have done an incredible job. We're going to continue. It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Right around the time, again, that was February, right around the time the president said all of that, the first passengers on the Diamond Princess cruise ship tested positive for the coronavirus. More than 700 people were eventually confirmed to have the virus. But this may be one of the most outrageous claims this president made about the virus.
My people came up to me and said, Mr. President, they tried to beat you on Russia. That didn't work out too well. They couldn't do it. They tried the impeachment hoax. That was on a perfect conversation. They tried anything, they tried it over and over, and this is their new hoax.
The coronavirus is no hoax. Ask any of the thousands and thousands of people who are sick right now. And the gaslighting continues. This was 2 weeks ago. The president trying to downplay the mortality rate from the virus.
I think the number, personally, I would say the number is way under 1%.
Tweeting that more Americans die from the flu. Dr. Anthony Fauci, though, telling Sean Hannity the mortality rate is much higher than the president claimed, and pointing out the fact that it is 10 times more deadly than the flu.
The mortality for seasonal flu is 0.1. The mortality for this is about 2.5%. It's probably lower than that. It's probably closer to 1. But even if it's 1, it's 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. You got to make sure that people understand that.
They downplayed it for a long time. Some in conservative media still are. For months. Some just started taking it seriously just last week. Just last week. Others have been reporting on it since January. Now, let's not forget the president's visit to the CDC, falsely claiming that anybody who wanted a test could get one. That is still not true. Falsely claiming all the tests were perfect and comparing them to his so-called perfect Ukraine phone call, which was definitely not perfect.
As of right now and yesterday, anybody that needs a test, that's the important thing. And the tests are all perfect. Like the letter was perfect. The transcription was perfect. And this was not as perfect as that, but pretty good.
Okay. Let's videotape in his own words. It was just a week and a half ago that he said he wasn't concerned at all about the coronavirus. That was at a dinner at Mar-a-Lago with the president of Brazil. He really should have been concerned. We have since learned the press secretary for Brazil's president, who was there that night, has tested positive for the virus. That same night, there was a birthday party at Mar-a-Lago for Don Jr.'s girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, a party attended by the Brazilian press secretary. So you've got to wonder whether that would have happened if the president actually thought the coronavirus was a pandemic, as he claims. Listen to what he said to Republican members of Congress just a week ago.
Gonna stay calm and we'll go away.
And let's not forget Sunday, when he claimed we have tremendous control over the virus.
It's incredible. It's something that we have tremendous control over.
Like I said.
Hey, good morning.
How you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm great.
All right, great. All right. Let me see if I can find my headphones on. So how's everything going, Miss Letary?
Good. Awesome. I already got my projects and stuff ready.
All right. Hey, Raquel, how are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Raquel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everyone's beautiful face.
There you go.
Oh, scared. Hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think things will be good. I think things will work out, hopefully, for everybody.
I
It's
hope
gonna-
so.
It's gonna be hard for a while, I think, you know.
Yeah.
I believe they are.
But as
Yeah.
long as we stay indoors.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Did they extend it? I think he extended it.
Yeah, yeah. It's been extended till like the end of April. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Now the people staying indoors.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
All right, hold on. Let me Yeah. Okay. That's better. Okay. All right. So what are you guys up to?
Well, I had just finished up. I got like a dry erase board, so whenever it's time for me to demonstrate the projects I already have them done, but I'll be able to redo it so everybody
Okay.
can see, follow along.
Okay, great.
That's
All
how
right.
I did.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, see, I got my little dry erase board.
Oh, nice. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what the project about. We just gotta wait
Okay.
for a few more.
All right. How are you doing, Raquel?
I'm hanging in there good.
Okay.
Today I thought we would learn a couple of words on how to say hello to our friends around the world.
All right. Awesome. That sounds cool. Love it.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien.
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo estás?
Me llamo Eslete.
Ah, me llamo Raquel.
I know it. Very small.
That's good. That's
You
excellent,
have
Miss
good
Latte.
pronunciation.
That's wonderful.
I think I feel Spanish. I got a D.
That's okay. You need to
I
come
think
live
that's
in
the only
Miami.
thing I remember.
People can tell you.
Yeah. Everybody in Miami speaks Spanish, so.
Oh, wow.
So does he. He speaks very good Spanish.
But haven't been, yeah. Well, I think now we're gonna be here in Louisiana for a while, I think, so. Until everything passes. I don't know
Yeah, because I think everybody in Florida was outside. Like a lot of people were at the beach, and I was like,
Exactly.
nobody's going.
Well, we're here I'm in upstate New York, central New
Oh.
York. I'm 2 hours from Canada.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much country up here.
So that's a good thing.
It is, but believe it or not, outside of New York City, this county has more cases than everybody else. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But we, in New York State, has the pandemic, the virus in all counties except one, and that's about 2 hours from here.
Hmm.
And my daughter works for the Department of Health here, so she has to go to work
Hmm.
because they say that she's essential personnel, but all her staff is working from home.
Right.
So we're all, trying to keep our distance and just staying home.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the situation there for you guys?
How you doing,
Well, I'm
Miss
good.
Latte?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. I'm sorry. We stay indoors as much as possible. We only go out just to check on my mom or my dad or my brothers, because both of my brothers, they're out here, so we check on them, and that's it. We don't go anywhere else. Like if we could call our aunts or uncles or cousins or grandmas, that's all we do. We don't go by them. We just stay in Slidell. So we'll just be at each other's house. That's it. There's only a few of us, so that's what we'll do. My mom will cook, and one day my brother and them will cook, and then we'll cook. That's all we do. We do not. We don't stay out for too long. Only time we'll go to the store if we really, really need to get something.
Okay.
But that's it. We good over here. We blessed. We good.
and the health officials are keeping you guys up to date on what to do and what not to
Yeah,
do?
they're definitely doing that. I think they sent a paper saying about, you know, the requirements of what you need to do, what you need to clean, you know, how you gotta clean, you know, your hands and everything, and just keeping social distance.
I was watching on in the news yesterday that in Singapore, the children, especially in daycare and pre-K, they teach them a song and they show them how to wash their hands. So everyone's pretty much educated in Singapore as to what to do, but they have made it a game for kids so that, you know, you're not scaring them, but you're stressing that this is how you have to wash your hands every day, and they have a song about it.
Oh, do you know it? Maybe you could teach us.
I was looking for that piece of news a little while ago, but it takes time. I have to look for it again. So when I find it, I'll send it to you. That way you can share it with each other. And it's in English, so.
Okay. Hey, Tanika.
Hi, Tanika.
Hey. How are you?
Good. Tanika's on.
Tanika's always up early. Hi, Tanika.
Done a good job. Let me go get the phone and invite everybody out again. Give me one.
Yeah, I thought I was too early. I was like, wait a minute, am I early or late?
I signed on about an hour ago thinking I was late.
No, it's usually 9:55, like 5 minutes to prep and get prepared. We start at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But I have, oh, Tanika, I can't wait to do these projects with you guys. Look, Tanika. It's called line coloring. Thank you so much. I'll show you how to do it. I think I screen froze. Okay, then. Okay, then.
morning, Tanika. Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Aziz.
How you
Good
doing?
morning, Mr. Aziz.
What's up, Nika? Yeah.
How are you this morning?
I see ya.
He's saying, how are you this morning?
What's up?
Good, I'm great.
I'm doing well.
Okay, let me send you the. Let me send it to you. Let me send you the link. I sent it to your email address. You got your email? Open your email.
Wow. There you go.
Mommy, what we gonna eat today?
Where are your phones at? You can email the parents again.
I think we're gonna eat.
One phone is here. Where's the other phone at? There it is.
What you want to eat? You want to eat some salmon? I got some salmon at the house. You like fish?
Yes.
What about veggie burger? Want some veggie burgers?
No, not anymore.
Why you don't like veggie burgers? Good morning, Miss Latte, Miss Shay. How you doing, Miss Shay?
Morning.
Yeah.
I want eggs.
You want eggs?
Uh-huh.
Well, how you want to cook your eggs, Tanika?
Scrambled.
Scrambled eggs. Okay, okay. And then you want some toast as well?
Yes.
You want salt and pepper? Let me add some hot sauce on it.
I don't want hot sauce.
Why you don't like hot sauce?
Because no hot sauce.
Okay, no hot sauce. How about some mild sauce? You like mild sauce? You just want ketchup?
No.
Nothing? So you want eggs, toast, scrambled with just a little salt and pepper, that's it?
No.
Need a salt and pepper.
Oh my God, the teacher. Yeah, yeah.
How y'all doing?
I'm on with everybody for class.
Yeah. You got Sean and Bella?
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
That's for the project. You gonna mess it up.
Oh.
Bella. Good morning, Bella. Good morning, Bella. How you doing? You like my hair, Bella? You like my hair, Bella?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bella. Want to see Miss Nargis? Want to see Miss Nargis? I'll give Miss Nargis.
Hi, Bella.
Let me give Miss Nargis for you. Bella. See Miss Nargis? Let me give Miss Nargis. I got Miss Nargis a chip. Give Miss Nargis a chip. Wow.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Good morning.
Nargis.
Good morning, Miss Latte.
Yeah, how are you today? Yeah. Come on, how are you today? No kissing. Miss Latte. I can't kiss. No, she doesn't want kissing. She's a big girl now, right, Abella?
Oh.
I
can still show love. She said, oh, okay.
I miss you. Good morning, Tanika.
Good morning.
What are you doing?
Are you ready?
Yes,
Yes, we are.
Are you ready?
Yes,
Yes, we are.
Hey, Sean, I can't find Sean. Bella, where's Sean?
I think it's Sean. Sean's still getting up? Okay. Bella, wait.
Bella.
Yeah.
B for Bella.
Bella. She said no.
A for Aziz.
Aziz.
No. Yeah, Aziz is A.
T for Tanika.
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 Yeah.
Shake, shake.
Ass.
La 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 take.
Miss Raquel.
Raquel.
Okay. Na 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 Nargis. Z z z z. Zafri. Yeah. Okay. Sean, are you ready? Tanika, are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Are you
Oh,
ready?
Bella.
Okay.
Good job, Bella.
You're going to do the exercise
All right, let's
first?
do some exercise, Bella.
Yes. Let's get ready to stretch.
Just stretch it out, huh?
Everybody stand up.
Everybody stand up.
Everybody stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Okay.
Arms in the air. Put your arms in the air like you're reaching for something. Good job. Everybody reach to stretch to the window.
Yay, to the window.
Everybody stretch to the door.
Yeah.
Everybody stretch to the ceiling. Come on, touch the ceiling, everybody. Everybody stretch to the floor. Now shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out.
All right. Shake it out. There you go, D. There you go. Shake it out. Good job, brother. Good job, y'all. Good job.
Good job.
I'm telling y'all.
Okay.
How y'all
Good
doing?
morning.
Good morning, Miss
My teacher.
Good morning, Bella.
Okay, let's sing our good morning song. Good morning, Bella. Good morning, Bella.
Morning, Bella. Good morning. How are you?
How do you say?
All right.
Good job, Bella.
Good morning, Tanika. Good morning, Tanika. Good
Tanika, good morning. How
morning.
are you? You say.
Good job, Tanika.
Good morning. We can't find Sean. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, Hassan. Good morning, Hassan. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? You say. I'm fine. I'm fine. Bella said it for him.
Good job, Bella. Good job, Bella.
Okay. Good morning, Miss Latte. Good morning, Miss Latte. Good morning. How are you? You say.
I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hope that you are too.
Good job. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning. How are you? You say.
I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hope that you are too.
Good morning, Miss Raquel. Good morning, Miss Raquel.
Good morning, Miss Narcissus.
I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hope that you
That you are too.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I hope that you are too.
Good job.
Okay, all right. Okay. What else you want to do first thing? The first thing, let's talk about how you feel about yourself. Tanika, how do you like to stay at home?
I know that's a good question.
Tanika, do you like to stay home? I can't hear you. Tanika, I can't hear you. All right. Okay. Okay. No, Tanika doesn't want to. What about you, Hassan? Do you like to stay home? No. You don't like to stay home? No. Really? Okay. I know. Me too. I don't like to stay home. You know why?
Why?
Because I have to clean up the house. Oh, I don't like to clean up the house. I don't have an excuse to say that I am working or I'm stuck with the cleaning up.
That's Layla. What's going
Good
on?
morning, Layla.
Good morning, Mommy.
Yeah.
Good morning, Layla.
Good morning, Layla. We can't see Layla. Good morning, Mommy.
She's connecting to her audio.
Hey. All right. Okay. Okay. I like myself.
I like
myself.
I like to learn.
Learning is fun.
Learning is fun.
Come on, Bella, I believe in myself.
I believe
in myself.
Do it. I'm the best girl in town.
I'm the
I'm
best.
the best girl in town. Best boy in town. There we go.
I believe in myself.
Believe in myself.
Myself.
I believe in
Bella,
myself.
I believe in myself.
I believe
Bella.
in myself.
I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do it.
I can
I can do it.
I can do it.
All right, Miss Raquel, you want to go over your Spanish numbers? Miss Raquel.
Oh, there goes Sean.
You do Swahili, mama.
Okay, all right. Everybody say moja.
Moja.
One.
One. Bini.
Two.
Satu.
Satu.
Three.
Three.
Four.
Four.
Tano.
Tano.
Five. Tita.
Tita.
Saba.
Saba.
Seven.
Nane.
Nane.
Tisa.
Tisa.
Kumi.
Kumi.
Ten.
Ten.
Masabu.
Sabo.
Six.
Uma.
Uma.
No.
Mato.
Mato.
Eyes.
Eyes. Pintar. Hair. Nele.
Hair.
Dead.
Nomo.
Mouth.
And now.
Feet.
Ears. Hands. Dole.
Fingers.
Fingers. Stomach.
Legs.
Na.
Na.
Penda. Sana.
Sana.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Who's next now?
Ready to do the project, Ms. Lute?
Are you ready, Mr. Tay?
Yes.
Ready to.
You ready to, Bella?
You are ready
Good job,
to?
Bella.
Okay.
Good
ready?
job, Bella.
Okay.
Okay, so does everybody have a, can I get everybody to get a white piece of paper and a crayon, please?
White piece of paper and a crayon. Right back.
Good job, Miss Raquel has her. Okay. Oh, Tanisha has it. Does everybody have it? Sorry, it's a little difficult for me.
Wait, who's writing it?
Good job, Miss Shay has her. Oh, good job, Hassan. Good job. Okay. So what we're gonna do is these are basically excuse me. Okay, basically these are the first initials of your name. This is Mr. Aziz's name. This is the A. So Mr. Aziz, I need everybody to draw the first letters of your name.
Okay. You talking about with the bubble?
It's actually rectangle. So you guys can draw the
Rectangle.
first initials of your name. I think the N is backwards.
What's the right?
No, just your own name. I was just giving you guys examples of how it would look when you put it on your paper.
Oh,
Okay.
your audio is eight. Oh, I hear.
Of course, of course.
Okay, I did mine.
All right, so once everybody does that, this is what I want you guys to do. Remember when Miss Shay said that you were going to do a skeleton with colors? We're going to use the first initials of our name.
Okay.
Okay, so I have an example of my name. My name starts with an L, so it can be an expression, it could be an item. Okay, if you want to act the expression out, you can.
Okay.
So my name is a L for Miss Latte. My name starts with an L, so this is love. This is leaf. This is the light bulb. So that's what I do. Okay, I drew the items because I don't think I had them in your design. Well, I have love, so I can always get that.
Okay.
So that's what I want everybody to do. Okay, and you're gonna tell everybody.
My name starts with A. I'm gonna draw an apple.
Ooh.
So that means his name somewhere. Mine is the S, so I'm gonna make a.
Oh, snakes are scary.
Ooh! Oh my gosh. She's a daredevil. She's going with the snakes.
I like snakes. You don't like snakes?
His name starts with an S. So what item or what expression? What about surprise?
Yay!
Woo!
I like surprises.
I say he likes surprises for his name start with an S, so he's going to use that expression.
I think we can draw draw a hat. You can draw a hat. I'm wearing a hat today.
Yeah, you guys can either draw your items or you could go get some. Get it. If you. Yeah, you guys can either draw them or you can find the items around your house. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. It's all in fun.
I got an apple I'm gonna find.
Ooh, I love apples. I had an apple last night. You like apples?
What about you, Tanika? What you drawing, Tanika? Tiger. That's a good one.
Tiger. Wow, that's cool.
AI. Okay, I'm gonna do AI. What about you, Haley? What are you drawing, Haley? Nice. What is that? Oh, nice. Okay. It's a short sleeve. That's a shirt, huh?
Okay.
Cool. That's perfect. And then you want to draw a hat too? Let's see if you can draw a hat. I did AI for my name, Aziz. So now let me draw an apple. Let me decide how to draw an apple. I'm gonna show y'all the apple, y'all. I think it's easier if I show y'all the apple. I'm drawing
you can either show it or you can express it. It doesn't matter.
And then,
I just want everybody to have fun, okay?
What about happy? Can you draw happy, Heather? You know,
Ooh, I like that. A happy face.
Yeah, a happy face.
Good job, Mr. Aziz.
That's a good idea.
Help each other out, okay? If anybody's a little stumped.
Okay.
We do teamwork, okay?
Tanika's doing a tiger. How about you, Miss Raquel? What are you doing, Miss Raquel?
I have R is for ring.
Ring. Okay, I got one of those.
And for rabbits.
Rabbits. I like rabbits.
And rose.
Roses. Okay, nice and simple.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Hassan, what you got, brother?
I am happy.
Happy face. I like that. I like that.
Okay, I got a hat though. Hat, right?
Yeah, you got a hat. Anything with an H.
Anything with an H.
How you draw tiger?
Is that Bella? Bella has a lot to say this morning.
Next thing, what you
Let's see, Hassan. What was your letter?
Mine was H for happy face and hat.
Oh, good. Very good.
What about one more?
Can you spell hat? Spell hat.
Me?
Yeah. Go ahead, bud.
I think he's writing it.
Good job, bud.
Good job.
Very good. Good job. We're learning how to spell with our letters.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes. That's what it's about.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
That was awesome.
That was a cool little project. Okay, I like that. So we took
And I drew a sun and a snake. Here's my sun. Here's my
Nice.
snake.
Oh, so good.
I got you.
So colorful.
Thank you.
I like it.
How about you, Miss Raquel? You wanna? Yeah, she showed her. She had a rose.
I have
Wow.
R for rose,
Yeah.
for ring,
Ooh, cool.
and for rabbit.
Rabbit. Okay.
That's nice.
Danica.
Smiley face and hat, as you guys know, and a hand.
A hand, good.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Good job.
That's awesome.
What about you, Tanika? What you drew, Tanika?
A tiger.
Can I see? You don't want to show nobody.
That's okay. We don't mind.
She's about to show us.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Awesome.
That's cool. All right. That's cool. Thank you, Miss Latay. Excellent project, Miss Latay.
No problem. This was really fun.
What about you, Michelle? What you got for us today, Michelle?
So we're going to use another piece of paper.
Okay.
And if you have a brown and a green crayon, we're going to make an ABC tree.
ABC tree? How you make an ABC tree?
Yes. We're going to use all the letters in the alphabet and put it on our tree.
Okay.
First, I'll wait for Tanika to come back so she can get her piece of paper and crayon.
A tree.
I'll give everybody a second. Then I'm going to show you how you're going to make the tree using the letters.
Okay.
Let me know when everybody's ready.
I use the black marker to make my tree.
Yeah, I have a pen, and then I'm going to color it with my crayon.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Tanika, you're back. You ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take our piece of paper, and we're going to make a stem.
Stem.
We're going to make the bottom of the tree first. It should look something like this.
Okay.
So we're making a tree trunk.
The tree trunk. Yeah, I'm sorry. The tree trunk.
Okay, tree trunks. Yeah, we may build a tree trunk. Yeah, draw a tree trunk.
We're building the tree trunk first.
I do like that stem Christmas tree. It has like stem.
All right, everybody has their tree trunk?
Yeah.
So now we're going to make a circle, a really big circle going around the tree trunk.
Okay, big circle.
You're welcome.
Around or on?
You're going to make it really big because you're going to write the letters in the inside of the circle.
Okay, like Miss Latay did, yeah?
So we're going to write the letters in the inside of it.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the letter A, B, and C. So it should look like this.
A, B, C on top, huh?
Okay.
Yes. And then you're going to make the rest of the letters C, D, E, F going around.
Okay. All right.
And then when we get to the middle, we should have Z in the middle.
E, F.
So it should start looking like this.
Okay. You gotta turn your paper, huh, Miss Latay? You gotta write upside down.
I have it upside down?
No, I said we have to turn the paper when we do it, or how?
Yeah. You
Oh, yeah, you can. You can turn the paper to the right, to the left, so you can get all of the letters going inside of the circle.
Okay.
Hold on, son.
So I stopped at P, the letter P, so I can show you how mine look.
Okay.
Mine.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Good job.
Like this.
That looks good. Good
Because
job,
I
Miss Raquel. That looks nice.
I use the black marker and the green.
That's creative.
Bella.
And then I have the letter Z for zebra in the middle.
Okay, so Z in the middle.
Okay, all right. Z for zebra in the middle. All right.
How's your coming along, Hassan and T?
Good job, Miss Raquel.
I'm learning so much today.
We learned about letters and alphabet.
Yes.
Miss Tay has a nice one too, y'all.
Let me see. Oh, good job, Miss
Very
Tay.
good.
Oh, look at Hayden.
Good job.
Good job, Hayden.
Ethan, good job.
Tanika. All right. Okay.
All right, good. Good job, Tanika.
Wow.
Tanika has 2 trees. Awesome.
All right. She said one tree isn't enough.
Yeah, she wanted to have 2 of them. That's perfect.
Very true, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take a little book break real quick, y'all.
Okay, awesome.
We'll get back to our projects, okay? So today's The Cat in the Hat comes back. Have y'all read this book yet?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the Cat in the Hat?
I've read only the first book.
Only the first book. Oh, you didn't read the second one? The Cat in the Hat comes back.
Oh yeah, I remember the Cat in the Hat did a lot of trouble.
Let's see. Let's see what he does. Yeah, definitely. So Cat in the Hat is written by Dr. Seuss. That's the author of the book, Dr. Seuss. Let me go ahead and open it up. Look at the first page. Cat in the Hat is looking in the window, y'all, with his big hat on. All right. Turn the page. This was no time for play. This was no time for fun. This was no time for games. There's work to be done. Okay, so everybody's they got the snow. They're shoveling off the snow out the way. Okay. All that deep snow, all that snow had to go. Mother went down to town for the day. She said somebody has to clean all this away. Somebody has to, you see. Then she picked out 2 somebodies, Sally and Nick. Clean up, y'all. Sally and him. Okay? Flipping the page. Well, there we were. We were working like that, and then who should come up but Cat in the Hat? Oh, Sally said, don't you talk to that cat. That cat is a bad one. That Cat in the Hat. He plays lots of bad tricks. Don't you let him come near. You know what he did the last time he was here.
Oh.
He was ahead of a lot of stuff, huh?
He was a big troublemaker.
A big troublemaker. Y'all turn the page. Play tricks, laughed the cat. Oh my, no. I just want to go in to get out of the snow. Keep your mind on work. You just stay there, you 2. I will go in the house and find something to do. I'm supposed to let people in our house, y'all.
He's reading to us.
Okay. Then that cat went right into, he was up to no good. So I ran in after as fast as I could. It took 1 minute. Do you know where I found him? You know where he was? He was eating a cake in the tub. Yes, he was. The hot water, the cold water too. And I said to the cat, what a bad thing to do. But I like to eat cake in a tub, laughed the cat. You should try time, laughed the cat as he sat. What you laughing about, Haley? You like that? Oh, okay, turn the page. Who's supposed to eat cake in the bathtub? Wow.
Is he sleeping in there?
I think so.
I know it looks like it, huh?
What you doing, y'all?
Like he's sleeping.
Then I got mad. This was no time for fun. I said, cat, you get out. There is work to be done. I have no time for tricks. I must go back and dig. I can't have you in here eating cake like a pig. You got to get out this house. We don't want you about. Then I shut off the water and went out. She's kicking them out.
Wow.
She can't stay in the bathtub. Let's turn the page. The water ran out, and then I saw the ring. A ring in the tub. Oh, and oh boy, what a ring. A big, long cat ring. It looked like pink ink. And I said, will this ever come out? I don't know what to think.
Oh my goodness. Look at the ring around the tub.
Look at the ring around the tub. He was dirty.
I know.
Okay.
Is it just me, or did he accidentally spill the frosting on the cake in there? And then he tried to wash it away.
Yeah.
And then he tried to wash it away, and then it just became that.
Is that what it is?
I think so. It might be. Let's see.
Wow.
Okay. Have no fear of that ring, laughed the cat in the hat. Why, I take the cat ring off the tub just like that. How we did it? With mother's white dress. Ah. Now the tub was all clean, but her dress was a mess.
Oh,
Oh, you can see him putting in the.
Wash it. Sally looked in. Sally saw the dress too, and Sally and I did not know what to do. We should walk in the snow, but that dress with a spot, it may never come off. Sally said it may not.
uh-oh.
Is he wearing his dress or is he holding it?
I think he's
holding it. He's holding it. Yeah, he's holding the dress.
After I finish reading, I'm gonna hold the book better so y'all can see it. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Ho ho! I can make that spot go. The way I take off spots of a dress is just so. See here, cat, it's not hard at all. The thing that takes spots off a dress is the wall. Then I saw the cat wipe the spot off the dress. Now the dress was all clean, but the wall was a mess.
Uh-oh.
See that, huh? You picking up the dress on the wall. Okay. Oh, wall spots, he laughed. Let me tell you some news. I take these spots off the wall. All I need is 2 shoes. 2 shoes. I looked, whose? And I said to the cat, this is very bad news. Now the spot is all over Dad's $10 shoes.
Uh-oh. All over it.
All over it.
Those are cheap shoes.
What he does about the shoes now. Okay. What your dad will not know about that, said the cat. He will never find out, laughed the cat in the hat. His $10 shoes will have no spots at all. I will rub them right off on this rug in the hall.
But then the rug gets the stains.
See? Now we have rug spots, I yelled. What a day. Rug spots, what's next? Can you take them away?
Isn't he smart enough to just put them in the washing machine?
I don't know. We gotta read the book, right? That will be smart. That's the reason the somebody didn't want him in the house. They have
exactly
when you let the cat and the hat in the house. Okay? Don't ask me, he laughed. Why, do you know that I can? Then he picked up the rug and the cat ran. I can clean up these rug spots before you count to 3. Those spots are too hard for a cat in a hat like me, huh?
Oh.
Where do you think he's taking the rug to?
The cleaners.
To the cleaners? Haven said in the washing machine. What about you, Tanika? Where do you think the rug to? I'm gonna turn the page. He ran into Dad's bedroom. Oh, he ran into Dad's bedroom, and then the cat said, "It is good that your dad has the right kind of bed." Then he shook the rug, crack. Now the bed had the spots, and all I could say was, "Now what, cat? Now what?"
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I think the cat in the hat has done enough damage for today. I think that the daddy can take enough.
I think so too, man.
Daddy can take his bed and put it in the washing machine.
That's a good idea. Okay. It's good I have someone to help me, he said, right here in my head. on the top of my head. It's good that I have him. Here with me today. He helps me a lot. This is little cat A.
No wonder you have such a long hat.
I'm telling you. He's got another person in his head, huh? And then little cat A took the hat off the head. It is good I have someone to help me. He said, this is little cat B, and I keep him about. And when I need help, then I let him come out.
I don't think those little cat in the hats like it when they just stay in a hat all day.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to have fun. You go around, walk around, you walk, you have fun, right? It's not good to
Yes.
outside all day.
Stay in a hat all day.
Turn the page, okay? And then B said, I think we need little cat C. The spot is too much for the A cat and me. But now, have no fear, we will clean it away. The three of us, little cat B, C, and A. How many cats in there? Yo, let's count how many cats they have, y'all. 1,
Cats, look.
2, 3, 4. Okay, we got 4 cats.
4 cats.
Get the page.
Plus the cat in the hat beside one.
Right.
Smallest one's little cat C. Cat A, little cat B, and little cat C. Got 3 of them. And then we got the big cat. That's why we said 4. Come on, take it away, you little cat A. I will hit that old spot with this book. It comes off the old bed and it goes on the TV. And then little cat B cleaned up the TV. He cleaned it with milk, put the spot in the pan, and then he blew it out of the house with the fan.
Wait, he cleaned the TV with what? Milk?
I think so. He cleaned it together.
I ain't using the
Won't that ruin the TV?
He swept everything up, and then he put the spots on the TV, and then the TV got cleaned with some milk, and then to get rid of the milk, they used the fan and blew all the milk out the door.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Let's see what happens, y'all.
Did a lot of stuff
You're
today.
gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, a lot going on. Mm-hmm.
As soon as the cat in the hat gets on my doorway, as soon as I see him, I lock all of them.
You wanna do the next
Close
one?
the
Very
windows,
true, man.
doors that will not let him come inside.
I'm telling you, that's why somebody didn't want him to come inside. He said, don't let him in the house. Okay. But look where it went, I said. Look where it went. You blew the mess out of the house. That is true. Now you made the snow spot. You can't let it stay. Let us think about that now. DNA.
Wait, what's the spot coming now? The snow?
Yep.
You see the snow?
That's just easy. That's
Okay,
just easy.
look, it's right there.
We'll find out. See, because if it was up to you, hey, you would wash the first thing in the tub, right? And in the washing machine. And we wouldn't have no problem. Let's see what the cat does. Okay. With some help, we can do it, said little cat C. Then pop on his head, we saw little cat D. And then pop, 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 little cat E, F, and G.
Wow.
Okay. We will clean up that snow if it takes us all day. All night, we will clean it up. Little cat G, F, D, C, B, and A.
Oh wow, they saw the letters.
Ready? All right. I'm turning the page. They ran out of the house, then we ran out too. And the big cat left. Now you all will see something. My cats are all clever. My cats are all good shots. My cats are all good guns. But this did not look very clever to me. Till the snow started with the pop gun, this just could not be. They're using pop guns.
Oh yeah, wow.
That's, I don't know if that's too safe, y'all. We shouldn't do stuff like that.
No.
If we get our parents' clothes dirty, we should just tell our mama. We want to be honest.
Yes, please.
They just do that because they don't know what else to do. We know we can just use the washing machine. Use the washing machine.
Very true. Bella, you watching the book, Bella? Come on, Bella, watch my book. Ready? Look, does is make more spots. Put them back in your head. Take your little cat G, F, E, C, and A, put them back in your head, and you take them away. Oh no, all they need is more help. Help is all that they need. So keep still and don't yell. So the homeowner's saying, please take your cat away. And he's saying, no, we just need more help. We need more cats, y'all. Let's see what he does. Little cat G took off the hat of his head. I have little cat H here to help, he said. Little cat H, I, J, K, L, and M. But our work is so hard, we must have M. Little cat N. We need O. We need little cat R, S, T, U, and V.
Oh.
Okay.
We're going down all the letters of the alphabet.
Yes, we got all the letters. Yep, that's good. Today about all the letters. No, we did that. We did letters today.
Come on, kill those spots. Kill them back, little cat. And they jumped with long rakes and red bands. They put it in the pails. They made high hills, pink snowmen, pink snowballs, and little pink hills.
It's no problem.
Too much fun. Okay. Bella. I'm turning the page. Look at all the pink on the page, y'all.
Oh, I like those colors.
Yes, me too.
They did them so hard. It was all one big spot now, all over the yard. But the big man stood there and he said, this is good. This is what they should do. And I knew that they would. With a little more help, all the work will be done. They need one more cat, and I know just the one.
Oh, wow.
One more cat. Huh, y'all? One more cat. Okay. Let me turn the page, y'all. Let's see what happens next. Okay. Here we go. Look close in my hand. I have little cat V. On his head are cats W, X, Y, and Z. In his hand. Look how small they are. That's how small they are. Wow.
Oh, wow. That's so small. They're tiny.
All right.
Yeah, look like love, please.
Okay. Z is too small to see, so don't try. You cannot, but Z is the cat who will clean up that spot. Now, how do you think Z's gonna clean up the spot, Tanika? What you think? You don't know? Okay, let's find out.
You don't know how he's gonna clean up the spot? I'm scared to know.
Right. Your son, Michelle, you know how you're gonna clean the spot up? He left, he's still around.
Oh, he might do something else, like make a more mess.
Right, let me turn the page. Okay. Now here is the Z. You can't see, said the cat. And I bet you can't guess what he has in his hat. He has something called Boom. Boom is hard to get. You don't find anything like that, I bet. Why, Boom cleans up anything, clean as can be. And then he yelled, take your hat off now, little cat. Take the boom off your head. Make it clean up the snow. Hurry, you little cat. 1, 2, 3, go. Boom, boom, huh?
Uh-oh, let's see.
Let's see what Boom is. I'm turning the page,
Let's see what Boom is. Look.
Wow.
There we go. Wow.
Boom went boom. And oh boy, what a boom. Now, don't ask me what boom is. I never will know. But boy, let me tell you, it does clean up snow.
Oh.
Boom. V O O
O M. Boom.
Ever.
Sorry.
Turn the page, y'all, but it does clean up snow. Okay. So you see, Laughter Cat, now your snow is done. Now your work is all done. Now your home is all right. And you know where my little cats are, said the cat? That boom blew my little cats back in my head. And so if you ever have spots now and then, he'll be very happy to come here again. He wants to come back to the house, y'all, to help him clean. He said, if you ever have any spots, I want to come back to the house, y'all. Let's see what they say. Okay. With little cats A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and Q, R, S, T, and cat U, and cat V with little W, and B. Put everything back in the hat, y'all. Okay. Turn the page.
The end.
Yay.
Wow, that was a good one.
Thank you, thank you. What do you think about the book?
I like that one. The Cat in the Hat comes back.
I like the boom part.
I want another Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat books are really cool.
They are. And I like the way they rhyme.
Yes.
They use all the different letters and stuff like that. They're easy to read. And did you ever hear the story about Dr. Seuss?
Yeah.
So Dr. Seuss, he's not with the author. So what happened with Dr. Seuss, the author, was he wrote these books right here, but nobody wanted to publish it. So next thing I think maybe like 2-3 years trying to get his book published, nobody wanted to. Then he said, you know what? If I don't get my book published today, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop writing. So next thing, when he did that, he bumped into his friend, and his friend said, "Hey, I work at a publisher. Show him." Next thing you know, he showed him the books. Now we have millions and millions of books all over the world, y'all.
Wow, I know it.
Keep on trying, y'all. Know if somebody says no, just keep talking to somebody else. Talk to somebody else, and then one day somebody will say yeah. So
that's right.
If you got something good and your mind is sharp, just keep working. It always works itself out. Okay, y'all.
That's true. Yeah.
Never
lessons
give
behind.
up.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Raquel.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. Okay. All right, Miss Raquel, it's your turn. You ready, Miss Raquel? Teach us some
I am.
Spanish numbers. What we learning today?
Numbers first.
Words.
Time for Spanish.
Okay. So, you know, we have boys and girls all over the world.
Yes, ma'am.
So today, we're going to say hello in each of their language.
Okay.
We're going to say hello to all our friends around the world. Okay?
Okay. Oh, look.
First one is in Spanish, and we're going to say hola.
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 The second one, we're going to say hello to our friends in China.
China.
We're going to say ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
And then we are getting on the plane and getting off in Japan.
Ooh.
Waiting for us at the airport. So what do we say? Konnichiwa.
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 Good job. High five.
Hey, we are traveling now to Saudi Arabia.
Ooh.
We're getting and we're going to tell our friends, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
Assalamu
alaikum.
Oh, we keep
You did it.
Yeah.
Good.
Going
It was kind of hard.
and our friends in Africa, some of them speak Swahili. So, Miss Marges, how do you say hello in Swahili?
Okay.
Hajambo.
Yes.
Hajambo.
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 Hajambo. Now
Hajambo means hi.
Turkey.
So that means hi.
Yes.
And our friends in Turkey are waiting for us. So we're going to wave. Let's wave to our friends in Turkey. And we're going to say merhaba.
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 Okay. And now we're going to France. And we're getting off the plane. Let's say
No, I like this one.
friends in France. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Now we're getting on the bus and we are going to get off in Italy. And our friends in Italy are so excited. They're saying hello and we're saying salve.
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 We are getting on the plane. The stop is in Germany. And our friends in Germany say,
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
You always saying it right. Guten Tag, okay.
We've been all around the world saying hello to our boys and girls, our friends. And how do we say hello in the United States to our friends?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hola.
And in Mexico, we say hola.
Hola.
Muy bien, gracias.
Yes, yes. And in France, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, friends. And in Japan,
Bonjour.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
remembers China. Say it. Ni hao.
Ni hao. Ni hao. That's in China. So we remember on the Karate Kid, you say ni hao.
Swahili.
Me jambo. Me jambo.
Me jambu. No, that was Africa, huh?
That's oh, no, that's Africa.
How about in Saudi Arabia? How do we say it?
Assalamu alaikum.
Good job.
Good job. In Turkey?
Guten Tag. Wait.
Salam. No, in Turkey we say merhaba.
Merhaba. All right.
Merhaba. Okay.
So who remembers Japan?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa, yes.
Good.
You did Japan.
All our friends.
All right.
Awesome. Look. Konnichiwa. That's how you say it in Japan.
More also so that we learn all those words. Right, guys?
Yes.
Also the same words so we can learn more. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So we have one last thing before we go.
Put on my
Do a little bit of a science experiment. Okay.
Oh wow.
I am going to silence this and then turn this one on. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about friction today. All right. So. All right. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So what we're going to be doing today is we are in the kitchen, okay? And we are going to be talking about friction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like this. You guys can see what we're going to be doing, okay? All right. So what we have today is we have a plane. We have something that's going to lift it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to figure out friction, okay? We're going to talk about gravity and friction. So what does gravity do, guys?
Makes it float like in space.
Okay, so it makes things go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So without gravity, things would just float in the air. Okay? So gravity makes things fall down, right? So I have a car right here, all right? And I'm gonna let it go. What's gonna happen if I let it go?
It's gonna fall.
It's gonna fall.
It's gonna fall down, right? So that's gravity. So what we're doing today is we're gonna talk about friction and gravity, okay? So the gravity is gonna make the car go down the ramp, all right? But friction is gonna tell you if it's gonna go slowly or fast, all right? So I'm gonna let you know. Do you think it's gonna go fast or slow?
They can move fast or slow.
Fast, okay. Now say that I put a piece of foil paper. Okay.
It's foil.
All right. Is that gonna make it go fast or slow?
Huh?
Slow?
You gonna go faster or slower?
Slower.
All right, let's see.
Let's see if it's gonna go slower.
All right, so it's gonna go a little slower, okay? Because you have a little bit more friction.
I know it
Okay?
was.
Now, what if we put something that is that has a smooth surface?
No,
All right, is it gonna go faster or slower?
Faster?
It's gonna go faster, right? Because it's much easier for it to move. Okay. So we're gonna put this here.
Yeah, smooth.
Behind it. It went much faster. Okay.
Yes, it
So the
did.
smoother a surface is, the less friction there is, and the faster it goes. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try a shirt.
What's the
We're gonna
dope?
put a shirt here. Now, what do you think? Is the shirt gonna make it go faster or slower?
Tanto يعمل ايه تمام؟
What should I say?
I think it's gonna go slower. What do you think, Miss Lotay? Is it gonna go faster or slower?
Slower.
Slower.
Okay, what do you think, Michelle? You think it's gonna go slower? Okay,
Yeah, I think
all
it's
right.
gonna go slower. Let's see.
Yeah, oh wow, it's not even moving.
Oh wow, it didn't move.
It moved, it went slower, right?
Yeah, it did.
It did, right? So there's a lot more friction. Okay, all right. So we're gonna do like a comparison. All right. So one side is gonna be a shirt. The other side has aluminum foil.
Okay.
All right. Look at
Oh
that.
wow, look how fast that one went.
One went really fast, and the shirt just stopped, basically.
Let's see if that one's gonna go fast. Oh, you got needed more push.
You gotta push it. You gotta push it, right? So the
pushing
friction
it
that's
barely
here
moving.
is so much that it's stopping it from being able to move, right?
Yes.
Sarah, you see the doggy?
All right. Tanika, you see it?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna. Why don't we finish up with the numbers one more time?
Okay.
Michelle, do you have your project?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay. Why don't you do your project?
Okay.
All right.
So this project is we're gonna use another piece of paper. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna use a blank piece of paper. I didn't know they had something on the back of it. So we're gonna use a blank sheet of paper.
Dad, did you ever set
And
up?
my son is gonna guess the letter. Send me a letter in my ear. Okay, so I'm gonna write the letter on my paper. And I'm gonna fold it up. And I want you guys to guess the letter that I have right here.
Oh wow.
H.
What letter did you say? H?
H.
No. Nope.
S.
S? No.
N.
No. One more guess and then I'm gonna tell you. No.
R.
Nope.
What is it?
It is the letter A.
Oh wow, the letter A.
For apple. So now I want everyone to do the same thing. Do we have enough time for everyone to go?
Sure, you can do one more.
Okay. So everybody write a letter and then we have to guess it.
I will write a letter A.
Okay, everyone write a letter and we're gonna guess it.
You wanna do it? Okay, yeah, write a letter.
I got a letter.
No, you write a letter and I'm gonna guess your letter.
So it's all the other letters.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, you ready, Miss Raquel? Okay, Miss Raquel can go. Okay, so let's see who's going next.
Whose turn is it?
Can he go
Whose letter is it?
Hazen, are you ready?
Sean said he ready.
You ready? Okay, come on, Shine.
You want to guess the letter? Let people guess the letter.
Shine, do you have the letter B?
No.
W. O?
Nope.
Nope.
What about, can you give us a hint?
She do.
B.
Upside down W.
W.
M.
Yes. So we have
What about Tanika? Tanika, do you want to go? Tanika, can we guess your letter?
T.
What letter do you have? Do you have the letter T? Aura?
No. H.
Can you give us a hint?
O.
Oh. Oh. Ow.
What about aura?
What is it? O.
L-A-O.
It's not O? Okay, we give up. A? A? Okay, you can show us.
Okay, show it.
What letter do you have? What letter is that? M? W.
Can I go?
Sure, go, Hassan. Yeah.
I'd like to say the page. The answer is behind this page.
Okay, what is it?
That's the one you guys are supposed to get. You guys are supposed to get.
All right, how about a J?
What about a K?
No J, no K.
L?
Okay.
L, no.
I see your butt,
H.
Mom.
I know. Q.
Okay.
H.
It's not H.
O.
Okay, we give up.
Tell us, Hassan. What is it?
What's over here?
T. S.
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 Yes, good job.
Hold it in the corner.
Nice. All right, and okay.
Here's the answer.
Yes, good job, Hazen.
All right, Tanika, what is your letter? Did we get Tanika's letter?
Yes, she had W.
All right. So I will see you guys all tomorrow, okay?
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.
Bye.
All right, good job. All right, bye.
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 Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.